Uh, Guilt uh, is for the combat vet. He deals with his guilt with denial. He doesn't feel guilty for nothing. And but in addition to denial, in order to survive in combat, human beings have to emotionally shut down because they are completely overwhelmed. I mean, bottom line, the people who fight wars are boys and girls. They won't admit to each other that they're boys and girls, but they are. And they in no way were prepared for how grotesque combat was going to become. They thought their idea of combat was fighting for democracy and being a patriot. They never knew that they were going to be faced with having to kill a 14-year-old girl because you didn't know if she had either a grenade or an AK-47 on her. And the last time he didn't take a 14-year-old girl out, she pulled out an AK-47 and blew his buddies away. So now he's in a situation where he's busted into a hut or a house, and here's a 14-year-old female civilian, and he kills her, and he watches her die, and he hears her scream, and he watches as her relatives are horrified and they start screaming. And we're talking about a 19-year-old boy. Well, a year prior to this, that 18-year-old boy, the biggest thing he'd probably ever killed was a deer, if that. If he came from the city, he probably hadn't killed anything. And in order to survive in combat, human beings emotionally completely go numb. And in Vietnam, we had an expression, and the expression was, "It don't mean nothing." And when we said it don't mean nothing, we meant killing didn't mean nothing. It meant the war didn't mean nothing. And what it also meant, albeit we didn't realize it, we were also saying we didn't mean nothing. And that was how we handled it. And it was an incredibly functional way of handling the grotesqueness of combat. And being emotionally numb, we didn't feel guilty. We also were eventually unable to cry. And because we had never been told that we were going to be in this situation, we also stopped trusting. And the not trusting we became proud of. We don't trust anyone. And the problem with not trusting is if I lose the ability to trust, there's no way I can have friends, let alone an intimate relationship with one person. And and combat vets, they're unable to feel, and they don't know how. They've forgotten, and they don't feel. They don't. They want to be close to their children, and they don't know how to. They want to be close to their husbands and wives, but they don't know how to. And I know you initially talked about guilt, but guilt is only one of the feelings that combat vets don't feel.
What are the others?
Joy, sadness. The feeling that we do feel, albeit we don't realize it, is we feel helpless. And in dealing with our helplessness, we become frustrated, and we turn into rageaholics. And we blow up so disproportionately to minor events. And like I say, there's this helplessness of not being able to control our anger, our helplessness of not being able to have other feelings like joy, sadness, guilt, regret, love, caring, and it's as if combat vets are in emotional straitjackets, and because of their distrustfulness, they have a difficult time trusting anyone who hasn't been in combat.